right, Zach. So with that as a backdrop, let's dive in here. And before we dive in, let me just say this to the Wicked Smile listeners. This is unique, not because Zach and I are doing a dual cast. We do them a lot because we're going to talk about what we got going on in the company, in the communications, in the courses, and the offerings. We're going to just give you an update, kind of a 10,000-foot view. Zach, with that, you can pick them the next topic.
Sure. Well, what's interesting is the last time we kind of utilized this language, doubling down, was back when COVID happened, right? So when COVID happened, we said we're going to double down. We're going to, basically throw all of our eggs in one basket. We're going to get after it. We're going to double down. So we're doing the exact same thing right now. And the reason why this time for us doubling down is because the market is so ripe for creative financing. And we believe we'd be doing an absolute disservice if we did not structure things in such a way that way everybody that's interested in getting involved in creative financing, buying their first deal, and utilizing our strategies, in 2024 and in 2025, can get started now. We want to double down and create all these different opportunities for people to go out there and make this happen. And look, this is not. In the reality is, it's taking Chris and myself almost 5-10 times the amount of effort, all the things we're going to go through with you guys on this, and time where we could just potentially sit back and just go do our own deals, which we're certainly doubling down on that right now as well. But also, we want to make ourselves available to the highest degree. We believe that people can be, sitting arm's length with us as often as possible. It's going to drastically change a few people's lives or many people's lives, however many it actually changes. So wanted to kind of go over all the things that we doubled down on this year because it's a huge team effort, and we're excited. We're excited to talk about it, and we're really excited for all the different opportunities.
Zach, let me bring up, there's so many we can bring up. We'll do market last, but so I want to talk about what was on your brain first, but I do want to say this to everybody. Okay, so you mentioned COVID. During COVID, we rewrote our book because we thought it was appropriate to not have old stuff out there. We redid the QLS, the Quantum Leap System home study program because we didn't want outdated information. I will say to the Wicked Smile listeners, you'd be hard pressed to find another education platform or company or person who goes through that kind of pain. I'm telling you right now, we are about 95% done another iteration of the QLS home study course. Why? So when you guys get it, you have current, I'm talking about last Friday, we made a change to some scripts because the market is changing and you need that. I don't know of another course that exists. So just to get everybody on the sort of the flavor and the energy of where we're going with this.
Yeah, because you and I have been through too many masterminds courses where it was last year's information. It was 5 years.
10 years. Yeah.
10 years.
Crazy.
And not to say some of that doesn't still work today, but it works in a different way. People communicate differently nowadays. Social media is used at a much higher degree now than even 12 months ago. The way, just like you were saying, the scripts, just how people are communicating nowadays is just different. Even with the TCPA Act, which was, we could do text messages and slide broadcasts, meaning we could just drop a voicemail, and that's how leads were generated for many years. And now there's so many laws surrounding it, so we have to be constantly up to date. Yeah, so let me give you some really cool things because some of these are new events that we're incorporating now, and really these new events kind of lead to a point where you're going to be more successful, in our opinion, in this real estate space. So we'll walk you through them. We have, if you're listening to this is at the very beginning of March. We're unleashing our first 3-day boot camp where people get to come to our office. I mean, we used to have office visits, and we still do at this point in time for just our associates, so just the people we buy and sell real estate with. But we actually open up the doors now to small groups of people. Right now we're looking at, and things may change, but right now we're looking at 15 to 20 people come to our office for 3 days. And the reason why that's so impactful is because the best way that we have found to successfully help somebody launch their real estate business and actually be successful in their real estate business is to immerse them in their real estate business. And this is what I mean by that. Most people that are buying and selling real estate, 90% or 95% are doing it part-time, which means that they're juggling their W-2 job, they are juggling their family, and then they're trying to buy real estate. So it's it's not very often where you actually get to just step in for 3 days and focus on you and your business. And then most importantly, within that time frame, we, Chris, myself, and we're bringing in coaches to come in and support that immersion as well. Because on day one, based on our current agenda, day one, we're going to be making phone calls like all day long to those that are showing up prospects. So Chris, myself, the coach is going to be on the phone with their prospects, moving leads forward. This is like in the business. This is in the trenches with you. And then on day two, we're going to pull it together. We're going to start focusing on deal structuring and some high-level things like going on appointments. So that way we can move you forward. Because the most important thing is increasing confidence in your business so you can go out there and go get these deals done. Because we know as soon as you get your first deal, the light bulb tends to switch and you get a deal significantly faster. And then, of course, on the third day, we create a custom plan with you via either hot seats or strategy sessions, which tend to be the most powerful sessions at our office visits, because that way you have a game plan to be able to go ahead and lead with. So you can go out there and attack the world at this point in time with your current business. And that's just one of the events that we're setting up. And we're going to be running that at this point in time every 6 to 8 weeks. And that's eligible for anybody. You can buy a ticket directly to it. But again, it's very small groups of people or those that are currently in our Jumpstart program as well, and even some of our associate levels. So it's a very exclusive, immersive event. And I'm telling you, it's going to change a ton of lives and a ton of perspective by the time that event's done.
Yeah, historically, Zach, there hasn't been, I won't say never, maybe one exception to this comment, and that is that when people come in for an office visit, the associates, there's a game changer. Like they go get their next deal fairly quickly. And so that's not a problem because we don't know you, but I will tell you that it's game changer to Zach's point, but that's historically what's gone on. And when Zach, when you were talking, you said 15 or 20, which is how many we have showing up in a day. But I wrote down and I circled it. Our conference room holds 12. So we're going to be snuggly. We'll be on top of each other, but we'll get work done. And then if you're watching this on YouTube, and if you're not, you should go check it out anyway. In this very office I'm standing, we're going to jam 6 people or 7 people. Zach's going to take 6 or 7, and one of our coaches is, and we're going to do those live dials. And you know what's so cool about our coaches? They're just as dedicated as we are. One of our coaches said to me and Zach the other day, we said, oh, you can, come in for day one, do some calls for us, and then, to stay. He said, no, I want to stay the whole time. He wants to help. He wants to be in the trenches with you. He wants to help. And that's a pretty cool thing. Zach, how can they, if they're listening when they listen to this and they get intrigued to come see us in May, because that's the next one, May 1, 2, 3, I think. How do they do that? Just so we don't leave that hanging, and then we'll pivot to what else we're doing.
I will drop the links in the description for you as well, or in the show notes specifically, because right now it's actually behind the scenes. We've only released it to our internal community or somebody that is currently in the Jumpstart program. So when you're out there and you're interested in looking at these types of strategies and want to work with us, just book yourself a strategy call and talk with our advisors. And they'll walk you through what your next steps could be, because this event could be one of your best next steps in order to go ahead and launch your business. And you can do that at smartrealestatecoach.com/action to go ahead and speak to one of our advisors.
Wicked Smart listeners, I was racking my brain this year, and I said, how can I best help this amazing, huge now group of Wicked Smart listeners? And that is, at least my idea of that is, I want to help you on a personal phone call. I want to get on. I want to strategize a little bit. I want to advise a little bit. I want to help you in any way I can, because as you've heard me say many times over, it's not just about learning the skill set to do a deal. I can do that. You can go to YouTube and jump on our Deal Structure Sundays and do that. I want to get on a call with you so I can really tear apart where you are now, where you want to head, and what are the roadblocks in the middle? What are some skill sets we can improve perhaps in there? What are some mental skill sets we can improve in there? What are some systems we can improve in there? See, these hit all the areas of our genius model, the 3 pillars. Just head over to smartrealestatecoach.com/action, and that's going to get you on my calendar. I can't wait to chat.
So that's one of many things. Honestly, I'm excited about it because it's basically like we're just going to do deals for 3 days, which is it's just like getting back to the basics. Because at the end of the day, this business is not complex. You eventually scale as you do more and more deals. But at the end of the day, it's based around doing deals and honestly solving people's problems. So it's going to be a lot of fun just kind of locking the doors and structuring deals for 3 days.
Yeah, and then let's switch back to the market, and then we'll pivot back to the summit coming up, Zach. From a market standpoint, we can name all kinds of things, but let me just say two, and then I'm sure you have some comments. We talked about, us changing and things that are going on and why they should change. In the last 10 years, so I've been at this 33 for the Wicked Smart listeners if you're a new listener, but I've been at creative by itself for 12. So in the last 12 years, but the stat I looked up was a decade, the amount of free and clear properties out there that you can buy with 0% interest went up from 33% to 39. I'm rounding. It was point something on both of those. That's a big jump. That means almost 40% of the properties in the United States are free and clear. We teach you how to go talk to them, to Zach's point, with confidence. And then you structure, if you structure one of these every 3 months, never mind one a month, it's a game changer. Because we're going to show you how to take three particular variables, metrics, and turn those into six figures on these owner financing deals. So that's one. The second one is, I don't have the stat right in front of me, Zach, memorized, but the amount of mortgages under 5% is astronomical now too. And we can show you how to go get those for you and your family, even if you don't do this as an investor. So crazy opportunity available. Those two things weren't available 10 years ago. So things keep changing.
Not only are they available, but they're openly available. If you go on Zillow today or Facebook or wherever you're typically looking at properties, you're going to see in a lot of these descriptions now that willing to sell or finance, or willing to sell. If you're especially on Facebook, willing to sell subject to the existing loan. Like the softening of the market in creative financing, which is, I guess, the best way I could describe it, is enormous. The biggest challenge that I faced 10 years ago when I first started buying real estate with you, Chris, was I had to tell people what it was.
Yeah.
But there's an edge. I used to tell people, like, if you're in creative financing, you're more of an educator than you are an investor. You have to show people what this actually is. Nowadays, people already saw it. Like, I was just literally on Zillow looking at a property, and it said, like, with 20% down, we'll sell our finance. Now, does that mean that you're going to go buy the property 20% down? Probably not. But the fact that they're already advertising that, and that is a realtor advertising that means that they're going to be willing to accept way better terms than they would have back in the day. So, super powerful. If you could just come here and master 2 of our 4 strategies, subject to deals or owner financing, it means you literally have access to 5% interest rates or lower just by utilizing those 2 strategies, where everybody else, if you went to go get traditional loans, you get access to anything less than 6.5%. And man, that is with like extremely good credit. So huge opportunity. And that's why we're doubling down. That's why I'm like, where are these deals? Well, let's just go out there and find more deals.
I think we sort of missed a point too if we didn't talk about the other change we did, because the virtual world's different now. We have the Wicked Smart Summit coming up here in a few weeks. Sure. And instead of, locking someone in a virtual room to get headaches watching us all day for 10 hours, we changed the format on that a little bit. So on March 20, 21, and 22, we're running it like this, and then you can fill in some holes, Zach. On Wednesday the 20th, we're running it from 10 to 3, the same on the 21st, but that's going to be real simple. After some really special things, the way we open, we're going to do 4 50-minute sessions. Every single one of you can sit through 4 50-minute sprints with us, and we're going to power pack that for 2 days. And the third day is only 10 to 1. That's our virtual event. That means every single one of you listening right now can and should be at that. Zach, I have a 50% thing I'll throw in here, and then we can put it in the show notes. Just go to smartrealestatecoach.com/summit. And then to get 50% off, just punch in the coupon code podcast50. Okay? Podcast50. We want to see you there, guys, and I guarantee you'll be time very well spent.
Yeah, I love the virtual events because, number one, you got no excuse, right? You can always show up to these virtual events. You can literally show up there with no pants on because we're not going to know it. So that's a huge opportunity, especially if you're first getting involved in creative financing, but also it's a good touch base because you're going to be able to get a feel of how our community operates. But most importantly, we're both from New England, right? We talk fast, so we can cover a lot in a 50-minute sprint. So the ability to really get into something, get really deep into it, and then give you a break, especially from sitting on a Zoom call all day, is going to dramatically increase the amount of retention that you're going to take from one of these events. So that's our focus. Get in, teach you what you need to be taught, have you then implement it, and then go ahead and move it into the out in the world. So that way we don't keep you locked up all day. I would much rather have you show up for a couple hours, then go implement something that night into your business, show up the next day, let's have you mold it some more, let's have you then refresh it, and then go back out in the world again. Exactly how we want to go and position it. So we're going to cover, again, well, if you're brand new to us, Smart Real Estate Coach, we're going to cover a lot of the basics. We're going to do a ton of deal structuring as well, so that way we can hit a bunch of high-level items as well, and really be able to show you the current business model and help you evolve as 2024 is certainly, kicking up a ton of deals right now.
Awesome. Anything else we have to hit, Zach? And then the sort of the things we threw out to them: register for the summit. Make sure you check out, if you're interested in really that immersion experience, check out the in-office boot camp. Those will all be in the show notes. Anything else?
No, without hitting every single small thing that we're doing right now, literally every single week you can tap in with us, either with our Wicked Smart Sit Down, where we do live coaching, or with our vendors, with our team, our coaches. You get access to Chris and I every single week on our Wicked Smart Sit Downs. Or if you're showing up to our workshops, which is usually anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half, when we dive into our business. Or we have one-day virtual events, which are basically extended workshops right now. And then we have these every 6 weeks, these boot camps. And then we have our big live event. I don't think we can't jump out of this without talking about QLS Live. I think this is going on our 9th year, or 8th year.
Whatever 2016 till now is. So
the year. So we're going on our 8th year when it comes to QLS Live, and we're making it easier on you. If you've attended one of our events, get to Newport, Rhode Island. Can be a bit tricky because you got to fly into either Providence or Boston, and you have a good drive time. We're actually bringing it right to the hub, where all roads lead, as the Boston Bruins say. We're going up to Boston at an amazing location right in the heart of Boston here. So it's going to be an amazing event. You can go to QLSlive.com. I encourage you, get your ticket now. We are limited on space. We rented out the place, and we are absolutely limited on space. So it's going to be an amazing 2-day event, and I'm super excited about that as well.
Zach, you didn't see me, but I used my fingers. So 2016, we actually held the event. There was 14 people in a basement, if you remember. You were there. So it's the 9th annual, and I'd say by far the best location, the most convenient location, the most professional location, and we'll bring the best content you've ever experienced.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that as well. So want to do an overview of everything we have going on this year. I know we packed it with tons of different events. We'll make sure all the event links are in there. I want to rattle them all off here. But at the end of the day, I really attached to what Ed Milet said. He said the best, what did he say? The best power was like availability, or something like that. So we wanted to make sure that, or the best ability is availability. That's it. Thank you, Ed Milet. With that being said, we want to make sure that we are available in so many different levels for you here this year at Smart Real Estate Coach, because we know that if we're available, our team's available at every single level, that you're going to go out there and be able to get more and more deals done. So with that being said, it's been an awesome podcast. Thanks for having me on again, Chris.
You bet.
Thanks for listening to the Smart Real Estate Coach podcast. If you're ready to invest in yourself and take your investing to the next level, check out our 90-day Jumpstart program by going to smartrealestatecoach.com/jump. That's smartrealestatecoach.com/jump, because now is the time to act boldly in this unprecedented market shift.